Welcome back to the True Alien Podcast, everyone.
Oh,
I'm Adrian Smith, and I'm here with Julia Jones for another paranormal probe into the unexplained.
it's great to be back with you, Adrian.
So on this show, we like to serve up a daily dose of the strange, aliens, abductions,
Yep.
UFOs, Bigfoot, you name it. We're all about exploring the unbelievable
Right.
with a side of humor, because sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction.
It is.
So if you're ready for some seriously spooky stories,
Yeah,
make sure to hit that rate button and follow the show.
definitely.
Now, today's story takes us to a small coastal town
Okay.
where life takes a very eerie turn.
There's something about those small town settings that makes the strange even stranger, isn't there? It's like the ordinary becomes a breeding ground for the
You
extraordinary.
hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly where we begin a bustling boardwalk.
Yeah.
The smell of saltwater taffy hanging in the air, kids laughing,
Oh.
and Toby Anderson, our resident teenage astronomer, gazing up at the night sky. Toby's fascinated by the cosmos, always searching for something beyond the ordinary.
I bet he found it.
He did.
Uh.
One night, while scanning his favorite constellation,
Uh-huh.
the one his grandma taught him, he notices something off an extra star where there shouldn't be.
Just a tiny detail out of place, but it's those tiny details that can unravel the whole picture, right?
Absolutely, and things unravel pretty quickly.
Oh,
This extra star starts moving erratically, and then a fiery streak blazes across the sky, crashing into the woods near town.
wow.
Picture this. You're enjoying a peaceful summer evening, and bam, potential alien invasion.
Talk about a disruption of the ordinary.
Yes.
I'd say that qualifies as extraordinary.
No doubt. Now, Toby, being the curious soul that he is,
Yeah.
immediately grabs his best friend Simon,
Okay.
who's much more of a skeptic, by the way,
Uh-huh.
and they head into the woods to investigate.
So we have the believer and the doubter.
Exactly.
A classic dynamic. I imagine the crash site is pretty convincing, though.
Oh, it's more than convincing. It's downright creepy. They find this twisted heap of metal glowing with an eerie green light.
Oh.
The whole scene is giving off some serious run-for-your-life vibes.
The unknown can be terrifying, especially when it's right there in front of you.
And this is a small town, remember? Word travels fast.
Oh,
Turns out Toby and Simon aren't the only ones drawn to the crash.
right.
Enter Maya, the new girl in town, who's also fascinated by the unexplainable.
Okay.
She joins our dynamic duo,
Yeah.
adding a level-headed, pragmatic voice to the mix.
Okay, so we have the believer, the skeptic, A&D, the pragmatist.
Right.
A well-rounded team for this paranormal investigation.
They'll need all the perspectives they can get because things are about to get seriously strange.
Oh, boy.
It turns out those woods aren't just harboring a crashed spaceship, they're practically pulsating with. Well, Toby describes it as an alien growth,
Oh, wow.
which is honestly way creepier than little green men running around.
Yeah.
Imagine large pulsating pods hanging from the trees, oozing that same green light. Definitely not your typical forest foliage.
It's not the invasion we expect, is it?
No,
It's something much more insidious,
Mhm.
something that spreads and grows almost like a disease.
exactly. And as this alien growth takes root, the town starts to change. People go missing, pets start acting bizarre, and there's this growing sense of unease, like something sinister is lurking just beneath the surface of everyday life.
Ooh, that's scary. So we left off with Toby, Maya, and Simon facing
Yeah.
a pretty unsettling situation. I mean,
Yeah.
a town slowly being overtaken by something alien.
And it's not just their town, right?
Yeah.
They discovered reports of similar events happening worldwide.
Huh.
Disappearances, strange animal behavior. It's like this phenomenon is spreading like wildfire.
Yeah, it raises the stakes considerably, doesn't it? Suddenly, it's not just a local mystery. It's a
Yeah.
global threat.
Right. And it gets even more personal for Toby.
Oh.
He had been keeping an eye on his elderly neighbor, Mrs. Peterson, who went missing after the crash. One night he notices that eerie green glow coming from her house.
Oh, that can't be good.
It's definitely not good. He calls Simon and Maya, and together they watch from Mrs. Peterson's window as something truly chilling unfolds.
Okay, now I'm on the edge of my seat. What did they see?
They see Mrs. Peterson, but she's different. Her movements are too smooth. Her eyes glow with that unearthly green light. It's like she's been taken over.
Like a puppet controlled by some unseen force. That's a classic sci-fi trope, but it's terrifying nonetheless.
It's a turning point for Toby, Maya, and Simon. They realize they can't just stand by and watch as their world is consumed by this alien presence. They have to do something.
But what can they do? Who would believe them? 3 teenagers talking about alien pods and glowing neighbors.
Exactly. So they decide to take matters into their own hands. They pool their resources and their unique skills. Simon's the tech whiz, Maya's the strategist, and Toby's the researcher, and become a sort of makeshift resistance force.
That's a bold move, taking on an alien invasion with whatever they can scrounge up. It's that classic David versus Goliath story, and I have to admit I'm rooting for them.
They're definitely in over their heads, but they're determined. Simon sets up a surveillance network using old webcams and his impressive hacking skills.
Ow.
Maya gathers supplies and plans their movements, always thinking several steps ahead. And Toby, driven by his insatiable curiosity, dives deep into research, searching for any weakness, any chink in this alien armor.
That research is key, isn't it? Because fighting an enemy you don't understand is nearly impossible.
Exactly. And Toby's research actually uncovers something interesting. He stumbles upon a theory that high-pitched frequencies can disrupt alien signals.
Yeah.
It's based on some pretty fringe science, but they're desperate, so they decide to give it a shot.
So they're going with a sonic weapon. That's creative.
Very DIY, very scrappy. They raid their parents' attics and basements, collecting old speakers and electronics, anything they can use to build these makeshift sonic disruptors.
I love the resourcefulness. It's a reminder that sometimes ingenuity and determination can be just as powerful as advanced technology. But, it also makes you wonder if these frequencies work. What does that tell us about the nature of this alien intelligence?
That's a great question. And it's one that our trio will have to grapple with as they head towards their first confrontation with the alien presence. They've tracked a concentration of those signals to an abandoned mill on the outskirts of town.
The heart of the beast, perhaps, or at least a major hub of activity.
That's what they're hoping to find out. Their plan to infiltrate the mill, locate the source of the signal, and hit it with their sonic disruptors. It's a risky move, but they're out of options.
Talk about walking into the lion's den. I can't wait to hear what happens next.
Welcome back to the True Alien Podcast. We left our brave trio heading into a very dangerous situation. An abandoned mill pulsating with alien energy, ready to face off against who knows what, with their homemade sonic weapons.
What's fascinating here is that they're choosing to confront this threat head-on. They could have just tried to warn people, disappear, but they're making a conscious decision to fight back.
That's what I admire about them. They're not just passive victims. They're taking control.
Yeah.
Even if it means risking their lives. And let me tell you, their plan is pretty daring. They manage to sneak into the mill, dodging those creepy chains, and they finally find it, the source of the signal.
Wow.
An old generator buzzing with that eerie green light, surrounded by a horde of changed.
This is where their courage is really put to the test. They're outnumbered, outpowered, but they press on. It makes you think about what drives us to confront the unknown, even when it's terrifying.
Right. It's that human spirit, that refusal to back down. So Toby and Maya position themselves on a catwalk overlooking the generator room sonic disruptors. Ready, Simon. Back in a safer spot is the trigger man.
Yeah.
And when Maya gives the signal, they blast that high-pitched whine straight into the heart of the generator.
And what happens? Does it work?
The effect is immediate. The changed stagger, clutching their heads, some even turning on each other in confusion. That green light starts to flicker and dim. For a moment, it seems like they might actually succeed.
But I have a feeling this isn't over yet.
You'd be right. It's like they've awakened something. The generator that alien intelligence fights back. Tendrils of energy shoot out, whipping around the room, and Simon screams into the walkie-talkie for Toby and Maya to run. But it's too late. Those tendrils catch them, searing hot, disorienting. Toby feels himself slipping away, the alien presence trying to force its way into his mind.
This is what's truly terrifying about this story, isn't it? It's not just about physical danger. It's about the potential for something alien to invade our very consciousness, our sense of self.
It's a violation, a loss of control. And just when it seems like Toby and Maya are lost, the tendrils vanish. The generator sputters and dies, plunging the room into silence. They manage to escape, thanks to Simon, but the experience leaves them shaken to their core.
So they survived, but at what cost? They've seen behind the curtain, glimpsed the true nature of this alien intelligence. How do you go back to normal after that?
That's the chilling question that lingers long after the story ends. Life in the town returns to normal, at least on the surface. The disappearances stop, the weird animal behavior subsides. The official explanation: mass hysteria, a bad batch of something in the water. But Toby, Maya, and Simon know the truth.
They've seen the extraordinary of the impossible, and they can't just forget it. It changes their perspective, their understanding of the world, and their place in it.
And that's what makes this story so compelling. It's a reminder that there are things out there beyond our comprehension, things that might challenge our very notion of reality.
And sometimes the most unsettling truth is that we might never fully understand what we've encountered, leaving us with more questions than answers.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on another Paranormal Probe for the True Alien Podcast.
Oh.
We hope you enjoyed this chilling tale, and that's give you something to ponder as you look up at the night sky.
Remember, the truth is out there.
It is.
But be careful what you search for, because you might not like what you find.
Until next time, keep your eyes open, your mind's curious, and always, always question everything. And don't forget to rate and follow the show for more true alien stories. We'll see you on the other side of the unknown.